Good evening, everyone. We're about ready to get started with this incredible event tonight, this incredible celebration. At this time, I'm going to ask that all of the graduates in the class of 2020, we're going to move into position for the processional. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to ask you to just stand, rise, and then move to the very back of your column. We're going to call this the column here. With your captain, your faculty member that's going to help get you ready with your name card, which you don't want to lose because that's how your name's going to be called when you come across the stage tonight. And they're also going to give you instructions for the processional and how we're going to march in here in just a second. So at this time, graduates, go ahead and make that move into position. Hopefully they stay in order going back. Yeah. But I'll turn in. You can kill the projector now. You can turn the projector off if you want to. We're not quite ready yet. I'll tell you when we're ready. Not loud enough? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the processional of the class of 2020 at Bolivar High School.
Okay. Please remain standing for the posting of the colors and playing of the national anthem, followed by the salute to the flag. Please join me in the pledge.
Hold on. Gotta do the pledge, guys.
Yeah. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wait. Let the ROTC.
Order. Colors. Votes. Votes. Ready. Ace. Reason. Arms. Order. Arms. Votes.
There's a guy that has fought for you, that has been your advocate for the entire year and for your entire career. And because he put his nose to the grindstone, he was able to pull off this graduation. Let's give a hand for Dr. Guerin and his staff. I want to tell you, right now is a great time to be a Bolivar Liberator and a Bolivar Liberator alum. We're progressing at a rapid pace. We have our foot to the gas pedal all the way to the floor. Now, Riley Hawk, that's an analogy. The gas pedal does not always have to be to the floor. It's important for me that as superintendent that I make connections with all the kids, and because I get a firsthand look at all the great things that they do throughout their career, and the interactions I have with them, and able to that they're priceless. Some of the more memorable ones I typically give awards to at graduation. So here we go. I've got a couple groups I want to recognize. First, there's Keely Hoffman and Hunter Berry, and that's Berry, B-E-R-R-Y. Keely is the first graduate that is actually related to me that I've been involved with. She's my cousin. Hunter Berry, he's no relation to me. But Heath and Trish, I'll tell you what, there are times that I claimed him. When I'd be at meetings in Springfield, somebody would walk up to me and they'd say, "Man, your son sure had a good game." I would just smile and say, "Thank you." Now, when he had a bad game, which was not very often, I just said, "I don't know who that kid is." Another group, Guy 5, Ben Roker, Ethan McClure, Spencer Leib, Drayden Thompson, and Parker McLeod. I do not have a present for you. What I do have are the pictures that I took at the beginning of this year, and I want you guys to all sign those for me for when you're famous. This is my retirement plan. Ethan Dinwiddie, Hayden Burks, Hunter Berry, and Jared England. In just a few moments, I will no longer be your superintendent, but we will have a bond. These guys are going to play football at SBU, and we'll have a brotherhood there. And I know how hard and long those practices are, and I know that you're going to be tired. So for you guys, I'll have your first late night special from Domino's, so make sure you pick those up. Then the last group. You know, you're not supposed to have gangs in high school. Well, I had a gang. They were called the Gamers. And I hooked up with them because I wanted to just have that interaction so that I could see how those guys were doing. And those Gamers and I, we had lunch a couple times, several times throughout the year. And then this whole COVID thing hit, and I wasn't able to meet with my gang any longer. That's Nathan Gary, Mark Mashburn, Giovanni Bradley, and Brandon Neal. Here's the deal, guys. Mark this in your calendar. July 7th, we're having another meeting. You come to my office, we're having lunch one last time. And I want to tell you guys, it may seem like maybe I was trying to help you out, but I'll tell you what, you guys were the ones that were helping me out because we were going through some hard times right at that time that we were meeting, and just being able to be with you guys refreshed me to why I'm in this job. Thank you, guys. As an entire group of graduates, I want you to know how sorry I am for the things that you did not get to do. There were many things that you lost out on, chances to be competing at state and national levels. Project graduation, I do believe, is still on and going well. At least you'll get to do that. I think prom was very successful. I'm glad you got to do that. Senior trip will not be able to be replaced. There are many things that you lost, and I'm greatly sorry for that. You're growing up in demanding times. This is a changing world that we're living in, and you're going to be tasked greatly. You had to endure a brand new way of education. Your parents didn't have to go through that, and probably your older siblings did not have to go through that either. Your parents were never issued a computer to take home and do your lessons. You did not have a your parents did not have a wealth of knowledge in their hand that you could use throughout the world. But we did the best we could, and I think we did a really good job of educating you in this new era, in this new way. Now, you learned from a new way. I want to tell you about some other ways. They're called old school rules. Old school rules is what I hope that you were able to gain. Now, here's the deal. There's going to be a test on this, so take notes. This is the last lesson you'll be receiving from the Bolivar School District. Number 1, old school rule, show up. Takes 0 effort. Get there, show up. You're going to show up for work, show up for class. Eventually, you're going to show up for your spouse. You're going to show up for your family. You're going to show up for your friends. Be there for them. I'm here to tell you life is hard. Don't give it an advantage by not being present. Rule number 1, show up. Rule number 2, hold the door open for people. I said people, all people. This is no time for that. And the icing on the cake is when you smile at them, when you hold the door and say, how are you doing? This world needs a lot of nice right now, and that's a great place to start. Rule number 3, this is a biggie. Give up your seat for someone that's in need. Don't ask them, hey, would you like my seat? Just get up. Say, I've been saving this seat for you. Here's your seat. Number 4, your word is your bond. What you say, hold to it. And that's your commitment. We have a group of people that have made some serious commitments. If you would please stand. Preston Brooks, Giovanni Estone, Mason Broadway, Tyler McClellan, Gabriel Polly, Jameson Appleby. If you would stand. Thank you. You guys, they have enlisted to serve in our military services and protect our freedoms. I greatly appreciate you. Rule number 5. Rule number 5. Don't be afraid to fail. Try. Give it your best. Push yourself to your limits. You never know what you can accomplish. We had another group of individuals that did this, and that they were able to be recognized for a national championship. I'm not talking about a state championship. I'm talking they're the best in the nation. Get a load of this. Ryan Cohen, national champion for speech and debate. Great job, Ryan. John Sanders, national champion, JAG Mathematics. And then as a team, and they weren't all on the same team, but they won a national championship throughout their career in entomology and FFA. Blade Hancock, Jacob Toombs, and Alex Onesto. Great job. All right, time to deviate a little bit again. Now, Ryan Cohen won his national championship with speech and debate. But if anybody's ever been in a room with Jacob Toombs, I would just like to see how that commentary would go back and forth. I don't know who would win that talking contest. Rule number 6, help people in need. Don't ask if they need help. Just show up. Revert back to number 1. If you know somebody's in need, show up. Rule number 7, be honest. Be honest even when it's hard. That's when trust is built. Now here's your homework. Here's your homework. I know I left out a lot of the rules. go talk to your parents. And I left them out on purpose so that you would go talk to your parents so they can tell you further about some of those rules. And while you're at it, afterwards, give them a big hug, wipe away the tears, and thank them for taking you this far so far. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Cooper Boucher, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to our administrators, teachers, parents, family, and friends who are here today for the BHS Class of 2020 graduation. I'm thankful we are here in person today because it would have been strange sitting on my couch and telling my dog stories about this graduating class instead of you all. Today I'm going to tell you a few stories that are representative of the spirit of the Bolivar Class of 2020. Competitiveness, resilience, leadership, and vivaciousness are all qualities that our grade embodies. And when I arrived at Bolivar Schools in 5th grade, it didn't take long to see the competitiveness aspect through the BIS dodgeball tournament. These tournaments were less like dodgeball tournaments and more like the Olympics for intermediate school boys. I was in Coach Bandy's class in 5th grade, and we were loaded with dodgeballers and a clear favorite. I mean, we were 1992 Dream Team loaded. We played Miss Vote's class, and they were just all right comparatively. But all I can remember is Quentin Hoffman destroyed our whole team, and Kristen Peach won the game with a big catch. To this day, I still have nightmares where Quentin is pounding me with dodgeballs. We had overlooked our opponent, and it was tough to swallow. However, eventually we were able to accept our defeat and give Miss Vote's class the kudos they deserved. Our grade's competitiveness shines through in this story, but what this story really shows is that our grade cares. We care about everything we do, all the way down to dodgeball games. That passion is what has made us special all the way through. Now that BIS is handled, let's skip into middle school. Wait. Hold on, I meant skip over middle school. Who really wants to remember their awkward middle school years? Moving on from middle school, let's get into high school. One of my favorite memories of our class as a whole was our first assembly our junior year. The gym was packed as our whole school crammed in for our beginning of year kickoff assembly. Usually at these assemblies, everyone is pretty calm and seated, except for the seniors who are typically standing on the court. Our grade decided to switch some things up, and as Dr. Guerin was trying to start the assembly, we kept chanting, "We won't sit," while we stood. Finally, once we quieted down, the assembly proceeded, and we played some games in which our class dominated. The seniors got pretty mad because they felt like we were stealing their senior year spotlight, but we weren't trying to steal their thunder. We were just being who our grade is, a motivated, competitive group of students who also happen to like to have a little fun. Our grade has always been leaders, and one of the most special qualities of our grade is that we can have fun, but we can have fun while being purposeful and serious in accomplishing tasks. I think that is something that all of you who have been around us can attest to as well. As we look back over our story, it is hard not to acknowledge what we have most recently gone through. Our final semester of high school, prom, graduation, and senior trip, all things we thought we would surely experience to the fullest, were all stripped, shortened, or delayed due to COVID-19. It was, and is, pretty unfair. But life isn't fair, and it is only fitting that as we are proceeding to the real world, we would be stricken with this truth right out of the gates. And really, in a way, it is like losing a dodgeball game you thought you would surely win, but somehow you didn't. So you just move on with grace and perspective, something our class did. We didn't allow disappointment, anger, and bitterness to consume us, but rather we have waited patiently, taking whatever we can get. I knew the coronavirus wouldn't ever defeat our spirit because, as you saw in both of my stories today, we are too competitive and too strong to let it do so. There is a reason all of the sports, debate, culinary, and band teams did so well this year. It isn't a coincidence. The class of 2020 is hardworking, full of talent, full of leaders, and loaded with potential. I have a hard time believing that if the coronavirus couldn't stop us from finishing strong, anything else can stop us from becoming who we want to be moving forward. Thank you to all, and thank you to the class of 2020.
Dr. Barry, Dr. Guerin, faculty members, fellow graduates, family, and friends, welcome. My name is Madeline Barzee, and I am the senior class president. I want to first express the gratitude of the entire class of 2020 to everyone who worked hard to make this happen. Many seniors didn't get prom and graduation this year, and we are indebted to the parents and faculty who made this weekend a reality. We've looked forward to this day longer than any other Bolivar class. We prayed for its quick arrival, crossed days off our calendars, hoped for an actual graduation ceremony, but now that it's here, I can honestly say that I'm sorry it is, because it means leaving friends who inspire me, teachers who've been my mentors in and outside of the classroom. It means saying goodbye to an amazing time of my life and a place that has shaped me forever. At this time, I would like to reflect on our senior year, for it has been the year that has united us the most, and wow, has it been a wild ride. We kicked off the year with homecoming float building. We spent hours planning and building our 60s-themed hippie float, complete with a Volkswagen bus driving to a football victory. Every single night that week, many members of our class stayed late to help make the float. We all got the opportunity to talk to classmates we hadn't gotten the chance to truly know, and bond with them over one common cause. The icing on the cake was when we won the contest at the assembly, and of course got the giant trophy. Despite what the junior class may say, I think that we definitely deserved it. Fast forward a few months to basketball season, with the best section of superfans Bolivar High School has ever seen. Once again, our class united in one cause, supporting the basketball team. So many memories were made during this season, from cramming in the boys' locker room after a home game to riding the pet bus to the last game of the season, and all the crazy superfan themes in between. It was a crushing disappointment at the end of the season, not just for the players, but for the entire superfan section as well. Once again, I am thankful for the memories that we as a class were able to make together. And finally, we closed out the year with something none of us ever expected: online learning. We started the year complaining about schedules and assignments. Who would have thought that we would end the year complaining about Zoom meetings and actually wishing to be back in class? We had no way of knowing that the last week before spring break was just that, our last. What would we do differently? When we started the year, it seemed that graduation would never come. There was an endless to-do list before us. It feels like just yesterday that we are swearing to our best friends that we are just going to drop out and get our GED. Before the real fun could begin, there were subjects we had no interest in learning about, figuring out where and when to apply to college, or if we were even going to college. Hours spent working on assignments that were immediately forgotten, all while counting down the days to senior trip, prom, and graduation. When all of that changed, I think we all spent some time feeling sorry for ourselves. No senior trip, no sports teams to cheer. No more walking through the halls with our friends. No more sitting in our favorite class one more time and knowing it was the last time. Not even having a last day to say goodbye to fellow students and teachers. We lost our opportunity to end high school the way that we wanted. And yet, I think we come out of this even better than the classes before us. We've learned not to check off the days until the real fun begins. The real fun is now. It's today. Senior year has taught us tomorrow isn't promised. As Dr. Seuss famously said, "You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so go. Get on your way." My challenge to you, Bolivar class of 2020, is to remember this pandemic and use it to your advantage. Time is finite, so take the plunge and follow your dreams. Do the thing that's outside of your comfort zone. Study what you love. Forgive the offender. Take the trip. Include the outsider. And take the risk, for you never know when your world will get flipped upside down. I'd like to extend one last thank you to all of the Bolivar School District teachers for the impact you made on us. We will remember your lessons. You have not only furthered our academic careers, but you have helped us solve life problems. Because of you, we are not only better students, but better friends and citizens. Thank you to our parents for 18, sometimes long, years of guidance. We are here today because of your daily efforts, examples, and support. Thank you for being Momerators, for buying art supplies at 10 p.m. so we could finish an assignment, for driving us to practice, picking us up late from rehearsal, and buying cookie dough for every fundraiser, because really, you were the ones giving us the opportunities to succeed. And finally, I'd like to thank all of my classmates for the memories we made together. This year has been unforgettable, not just because of the global pandemic, but because of the memorable people. Thank you for making high school some of the best years of my life. I wish you all the very best. Go Liberators.
Great job, Madeline. Great job, Cooper. You both represented your class so well. So proud of you. So proud of your character, what you stand for. I'm proud to be your principal. You guys rocked it tonight. Let's give them another hand for those awesome speeches. Before I get started here on a few things, I want to thank Liberty Utilities for providing the banners around town, and Chris Warwick and his team that helped make that happen. That was awesome. And tonight, when you leave, graduates, make sure you remember to take your banner home with you as a memento of this year. And let's give a hand for Liberty Utilities, Chris Warwick, and others who helped to get those hung around town. Also, before I forget, tonight when we're done, we actually are going to send the class of 2020 out with a little bit of a bang, I guess you could say. We're going to have a little fireworks show at the end. So I just wanted to let you know, like, stick around. When the caps go in the air, the show's not over, okay? There's going to be a little bit more after that. Okay, class of 2020, you finally made it. And I mean that in more ways than one. Thank you for your patience. For your perseverance. You had prom on June the 26th, graduation on June the 28th. Never give up. That's the Bolivar way. So way to hang in there and be strong. It's been an unusual and unexpected and twisting journey to this point. And I want to share a little of my perspective on that today. I want to share 5 life-changing lessons I've learned from the class of 2020 from you. I have a strong sense of personal connection and admiration for you. Both for how you handled the circumstances, but really for your entire high school career, and just what I've seen in you, how I see you, how I believe in you, what I want to see from you in your future. I'm cheering you on. But before we get to that, I want to recognize some of our graduates who have distinguished themselves through academic excellence. They are definitely deserving of honor tonight. Each of them is wearing a medallion that's honoring their commitment, their perseverance, their excellence required to achieve that academic success. In addition, you'll find their names listed in the program, in your commencement program. Now, graduates, when I call for your particular award, then I'm going to ask you to please stand so that we can applaud for you. First of all, cum laude. These graduates have a 3.67 to a 3.87 GPA. At this time, please stand so that we can honor you. Cum laude, 3.67 to 3.84. The next group is magna cum laude. This group would be 3.85 to 3.99. Please stand so that we can recognize you. And summa cum laude, which is a 4.0 GPA or higher. Please stand so we can honor you. It's also, you may be seated, it's also fitting to acknowledge the National Honor Society members tonight are wearing a stole signifying the 4 pillars of NHS: excellence in scholarship, leadership, service, and character. The class of 2020 is remarkable. To date, these graduates combined have earned over $2.9 million in scholarships. Let's give them a hand. By the way, we believe that total is the highest that we've ever had at Bolivar High School, so congratulations, class, on the scholarship awards that you've received. The class of 2020 is also remarkable in the sense that you've encountered, as we all know, the most significant disruption to daily life and normal routines that any of us has ever seen in our lifetimes. And I hope we never see a more significant disruption in our lifetime. You're going to be part of a very exclusive group, not by choice, of course, and you'll be remembered for what you've experienced in these recent months. You'll go down in the history books. You'll tell the stories of what you've experienced to your children, your own children, your grandchildren. Maybe you'll show them your TikTok videos that documented all of this, or maybe not. That's up to you. And you'll also share these stories with people you just met. Because everyone, not just people here in Bolivar or in the United States, but all around the world, everyone has experienced this hardship. Every race, every religion, every nation, every creed, the impact of this has been global, and it's undeniable evidence of our shared humanity. As a child, I remember my parents taught me to love my neighbor. And these events have reminded me that every person on earth is my neighbor. So for the rest of your lives, when you share that you graduated from high school in the class of 2020, people will immediately know what that means. That will immediately have significance. That will be a point of connection and shared experience. There will be many stories shared from what's happening right now. And when we experience something as significant as the events of the past few months, there are incredible opportunities to gain new perspective, to learn more about ourselves, to see the world in new and maybe even better ways. So here are the 5 things that I've learned from you, from observing and reflecting on the past few months, getting to this point tonight. Number 1, you have to appreciate the little things in life. You have to appreciate the little things. Hanging out with friends, going out to eat, going to the movies, a brand new roll of toilet paper. These are all things I've learned to appreciate more this year. I loved drive-thrus before all of this, and I love them even more now. Thank you, drive-thru workers, for being on the front lines, right? So when you're going through a season in life that just seems to keep bringing challenges, you have to notice these happy moments each day. You have to keep finding reason to smile and to laugh. You all, the class of 2020, made me smile. This story was already mentioned. Your junior year, when you kept standing at the Spirit Assembly and you just went all in. I mean, you guys brought it. And I hope a few times over high school, I made you smile. Number 2, make plans but be willing to adjust. Make plans but be willing to adjust. You don't know where life is going to take you. Think about it. At one point this year, you were probably actually looking forward to having a senior skip day. I can imagine that conversation went something like this. When are we going to have senior skip day? Are we allowed to do that? Who cares? Let's do it anyway. Oh yeah, let's do it anyway. Yeah, we should take maybe 2 senior skip days if we want. And then you didn't show up for school for 2.5 months. Things don't always go the way we plan, but we adjust. Some things were canceled, some things were postponed. Thankfully, postponed for tonight, for prom, you were able to have those experiences. But I was impressed by the way you responded. The patience that you showed to each other, to us as we shepherded you, led you through this. I'm just so thankful for that, your gratefulness, your understanding in that. Thank you for that. Number 3, take care of each other. Take care of each other. That was very important through this time. Martin Luther King Jr. said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? There are so many ways to help others. Just checking in with a text message or a phone call. Hey, just want to see how you're doing. That can make a big difference. We've seen the worst of people in 2020. but we've also seen the best in people too. I like to notice that. I like to notice those great things that are happening. For your entire high school career, I've noticed so many times your class supported each other. All different sports and activities, all different interests and dreams. You truly represented 1,000 passions in one Liberator. Very well. You showed that you care about others and not just yourself. You were genuinely happy when other people were successful. I'm proud of you for that. Number four, have courage. You have to have courage. You have to have courage. What if we don't have senior trip? What if we don't have prom? What if we don't have graduation? What if I can't leave for college in the fall? Your parents felt that too. They already had plans for your room when you moved out of the house. But seriously, all of these fears were probably there at some point, and rightfully so. Missing those things would make anyone sad or angry or both. But when the what ifs, and they're going to happen, when the what ifs in life are pressing down on you, always remember your even ifs. Your even ifs. Even ifs are the things you can count on no matter what is happening. Even if this happens, I have my faith. Even if this happens, I still have love for the people I care about. Even if this happens, I still have the ability and freedom to choose my attitude, my response, my mindset. Nothing can take away those things. Number 5, and the last in my little list here I put together of things I've learned from you. Always keep learning. Always keep learning. We got a lesson in new vocabulary this year: flatten the curve, social distancing, asymptomatic, community spread, and many, many more. But we might have also learned some other new things, maybe a new hobby, maybe some new habits, some new skills. I'm guessing you learned some things because of what's happened, but most of all, I hope that you learned some things about yourself as you went through this, as you went through the last few months. I used to be against Crocs. I used to be against these, but during the shutdown, I ordered a pair of Crocs, and I learned that these things are amazing. They've changed my life. These are awesome. Yeah, I used to make fun of people for wearing Crocs, but now I'm a believer. So things are always changing. These things that change, if you're willing to learn, you'll be just fine. So never stop learning, changing, and growing. That's aiming for excellence. That's the Bolivar way. Class of 2020, it's been my honor and privilege to be your principal. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your accomplishments and your successes, but I'm even more proud of how you responded to hardships, disappointments, and failures with courage, commitment, and strength of character. You didn't let things knock you down. You got back up. Oh, and one more thing. You had to know this was coming. What do you call cheese that doesn't belong to you? Nacho cheese. You call it nacho cheese. Now, did you really think, you guys didn't really laugh. See, this is what I get every day. I tell a joke on the intercom. I can't really hear the response. In my mind, all across the building, people are just laughing and having a good time. But in reality, is what's really happening is what just happened, and that is there's no laughing. I'm the only one laughing. All right, so anyway, I had to tell a joke. You knew that was going to happen. Did you really think I could get through graduation without telling one last cheesy joke? Because one thing you can always count on me for, I'm not going to cut the cheese. Go Liberators. Thank you, and God bless class of 2020. Love you guys. Proud of you.
At this time, Bolivar Board of Education President Paula Hubbard will certify the graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Berry. Graduates, as a Bolivar High School alumnus of the class of 1982, let me be the first to welcome you to our ranks as proud Liberator alumni. Class of 2020, you were born at a time of national turmoil following 9/11 and the largest foreign attack on American soil. You came of age during the Great Recession and the worst economic downturn since the Depression, and now we are sending you into adulthood in a worldwide pandemic. In your 18 years, you have already proven that you have tenacity. You've proven that you have grit. And what does grit get you? Take a look at this beautiful evening that we've had. The largest Saharan dust plume in more than 50 years has made its way from Africa across the Atlantic to the middle of the United States, and the result is this ethereal sunset we've had on the night of your graduation, because 10,000 feet above us is a layer of sand in the troposphere. This sunset of ours we're enjoying tonight and this evening is enhanced by grit. It's no surprise that the class of 2020 had grit show up for you. So when life gets tough, remember that you've already lived through some hard times. Remember that you know how to dig deep. And may tonight's graduation remind you that beautiful, memorable, and remarkable things happen when you have a little grit. And now it's my distinct privilege and honor on behalf of the Bolivar R1 Board of Education to officially certify tonight's graduates. Each graduate here has met the requirements and fulfilled the obligations necessary to earn the Bolivar High School diploma. Congratulations.
Will the class of 2020 please rise? Mrs. Hubbard and members of the Bolivar Board of Education, on behalf of Dr. Wall, Dr. Guerin, and myself, and the entire Bolivar School District, it is my honor to present to you the 134th graduating class of Bolivar High School. Congratulations. You have met the requirements of the Bolivar R1 School District and the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. It is now my privilege to present the class of 2020 to you for the presentation of their diplomas. At this time, graduates at the east end of the field, please remain standing and prepared to receive your diplomas, and the rest can be seated.
Abigail Elise Warren. Ethan Dinwiddie. Ryan Foster Cohen. Patrick D. Barstow. Madison Elizabeth Vance. Ember Marie Monroe Lujan. Drayden E. Thompson. Quentin A. Hoffman. Elizabeth C. Wooderson. Christian A. Warwick. Ty Hansen. Genevieve C. Dunavant. Angie Rain Larimer. Tyler W. McClellan. Maudlin Louise Hennenberg. Judah B. McHugh. Caleb Tyler Webb. Elijah Ray Biddle. James Alex Russell. Jared J. Miller. Paige M. Reynolds. Kinzer J. Rufiner. London R. Nichols. Ivy Jade Glaze. Haley Rochelle Wright. Brandon Ray Neal. Avery Joy Gibson. Ashton M. Russell. Josephine Kate Davis. Samuel Isaiah Volko. Keith Allen Payne. Jaden Devery Lippincott. Isaac Wayne Anthony. Sarah Elizabeth Lynn Stanek. Gabriel Robert Pauley. Peter Anthony Bowling. Ashley Nicole Ballinger. Houston Robert Black. Seth Allen Batten. Mason Dean Bethards. Amberly P. Coleman. Austin D. Coons. Vane Gilmore. Nathan John Geary. Rebecca Kayanne Munson. Danielle Alexander. Avery N. Wilson. Benjamin J. Roker. Sean Jeffrey Vogt. Cooper Boucher. Victor Contreras. Ethan Thomas McClure. Aurora Lee Fox. Emma Kate Larimore. Brody R. Pollock. Melissa Archibald. Madison J. Austin. Sydney Danielle Alimo. Cole Mashburn. Madeline Sydney Barzee. Gregory L. Wisnant. Tara Shields. Jocelyn Grace Lane. Mary Grace Bruce. Gavin Michael Bernard. Hunter D. Berry. Danny K. Davis. Tanner E. White. Philip Ryan Applegate. Scarlett Rose Valles. Taylor Ann Clayton. Alex Onesto. Abigail Rogers. Joshua Aaron Francisco. Sarah Elizabeth McIntyre Hansel. Melanie Lee Ann Campbell. Parker Stephen McLard. Allison Ann Cooper. Haley C. Tigert. Mackenzie A. Stepp. John Hubbard. Maya Jean Montgomery. Keegan Matthew Brockman. John A. Sanders. Peyton E. Vall. Sierra Lynn Calway. Gage Cooper Mann. Elizabeth Carolyn Harrelson. Sarah Ann Tigert. Connor E. Alley. Alex Maldonado. Ann Jessie Van Hornbeek. Spencer D. Lipe. Andrew J. Johnson. Caitlin L. Browers. Mark Dean Mashburn. Mason Lucas Broadway. Jacob Dean Matlock. Madison Micah Durham. Alexis Shaylin Rummel. Cooper Daniel Hitchcock. Emma Rayanne Henderson. Lance Tyler Thomas Rice. Anne Marie Hope Heffernan. Haley Ann Diven Deckard. Sean Allen Lamb. Hayden Tucker Burks. Giovanni Anthony Astone. Jared Dwayne Engel. Addison Paige Martino. Aries Hope Wilson. Raina Lynn Cochran. Madison Jade Riley. Faith Jolynn Newell. Sarah Renee Green. Giovanni Leroy Bradley. Tyler M. Wells. Colby James Simpson. Jenna Ray Roberts. Tanner Wells. Annabelle Rose Ramirez. Caleb Alexander Rains. Cynthia Joy Hignite. Elizabeth Nicole Carlin. Will Cody McCracken. Tyler James Truman Cribbs. Logan Segee. Bladen Hancock. Corey Chen Siegfried. Riley D. Hawk. Bryce Edward Brannon. Dylan J. Rowell. Jameson Dalton Appleby. Josiah J. Phipps. Lily C. Shepard. Terry Jean Fox II. Jacob Toombs. Jesse Thomas Gann. Phoenix D. Balke. Keely Lou Hoffman. Preston Bruce Brooks. Ezekiel Robert Parton. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the class of 2020.
Will our graduates please rise and remain standing for the school song? The turning of the tassel is a time-honored tradition to signify the transition from student and candidate to graduate. The tassel is placed on the right side of the cap by the candidate, but is displayed on the left side over your hearts to signify the fond memories and years of learning at Bolivar High School. Class of 2020, at this time, I'd ask you to please turn your tassels. You're to be commended for your dedication, diligence, and patience at arriving at this moment. We confirm with the turning of the tassel that you are truly liberators for life. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Bolivar High School class of 2020. Congratulations. Graduates, please remain standing for our school song. We're going to put the lyrics already up here. Very good. The school song led by our choir officers, Ben Roker and Mackenzie Stepp. They're going to come up here in just a second. And then at the conclusion of the school song, as tradition has it, the graduates, you may toss your caps into the air, and we're going to have a fireworks show. So that should be great. So Ben and Mackenzie, come on up and lead us in the school song.
The hills of old Missouri at the gateway to the west stands the dear old Bolivar High School, loved by all of us the best. Gather round her stately columns, sweetest memories will cling of the days when dear old high school sheltered us beneath her wings. May thy watchword duty honor be to us a beacon light. Guide our hearts, O dear old high school, through the darkness of the night. May thy glory ne'er diminish, may thy grandeur never wane. Here's our toast, our pride and glory. Dear old high school, live and reign.
Nicely done, nicely done. Your cap went back there. Oh, here comes the fireworks show.
Oh, everyone's sitting.
You gonna get that for you? Look around. Back there, man.
Do you have your tassel? Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, everyone, and have a great night. Thank you. Have a great project graduation tonight.